a few of the military ideas open, because that was something that we had a surplus of points in for the longest time. And you guys, rather veterans of the series, may have seen this new one here. Usually with kingdoms, you have the aristocratic ideas, which usually give you a few improvements, I think, on cavalry units and just sort of things like that, things that deal with nobility. But as a merchant republic, we get this section right here, the plutocratic ones, which increase the availability of mercenaries. It'll increase the morale of armies, which I've already said is pretty important. And namely, it would give us actually more merchants and more just sort of trade ideas as well. So it's sort of a way that we can convert military points into trade points, while at the same time giving us a basis for our military growth. So I'm actually going to lock that in, and overall I think it'd be pretty helpful. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll recall our diplomat from Hungary. I'm going to see whether or not we can strike up an alliance with them or France right now. And France does not want to, and it doesn't like we can shift those modifiers in our favor. So I'll do one with Hungary. And this will be mainly a move to protect ourselves from Poland over here in the event that we plan on expanding east, is the main thing there. I think I'll let our manpowers recover here with this mission. I believe this adds navy or army tradition, so that'll be good. And the main thing is that I want to generate the mission to go into Brandenburg, because those mission casus bellis are really the things that I want to see happen over here, as I find them pretty helpful. What we could do in the meantime is that we could make a casus belli on, say, we can't make one with Pomerania. They're allied with Muscovy, which is just absolutely huge in the east over there. So, I mean, we could actually, Brandenburg is allied with Poland right now, so I think we'll have to take our conquests elsewhere. And currently, I think we'll try to maybe make Munster one of our, say, smaller nation people groups. So send a diplomat over there to forge a claim, and perhaps if we have enough money, we'll actually buy some of the techs in, or rather we'll buy an embassy, which is a pretty expensive building. It's a unique building. It costs roughly 1,000 sort of gold pieces to buy, and it's pretty useful in that it gives you, like, I think I've already said this, but yeah, it gives you one diplomat. So yeah, that's sort of that. Currently, yeah, we won't forge an alliance with France because evidently, I mean, it's not possible, so we will sort of wait on that. We'll see what values we need here to forge a alliance with Sweden. It actually doesn't look like it's that bad if we remove that relations penalty, so I'll send a diplomat over there to do its thing. Now, in the meantime, how much manpower do we have to build up here? At least at 98%, manpower should go up to, I guess, 30-some K like that, so I guess we'll just have to do another sort of weighty bit. So we'll do that. And currently it goes up by about 200, 300 some each month, so that's not exactly bad, not exactly great. Switch over the people over here to that, I suppose, and it might be time to build, say, a few military buildings just to increase that manpower sort of rate of return again, so I'll build a few here and there. Yeah, so I suppose we'll spend some money right now, but I think this will be worth it in the long run. Seeing as how usually when we fight these wars, our manpower reserve goes from, like, maximum to nil very, very fast. Let's see how this forging is going. So that's actually going pretty well. We should be able to start up that war very soon here. And they don't seem to be allied with many various powerful nations, so that'll be, it should be a pretty easy war, depending on how we really sort of make it. Currently, I believe we have 2 out of the 4 relations, so we can take 2 vassals, and I noticed that Munster here is one country that's adjacent to us, and they have an alliance with Anhalt, so we can probably nab both of them at the same time here. So we'll try to do that. Let's see, we'll actually switch out our administrative guy for a diplomatic power guy here, because we want to finish those ideas and unlock the policies. And we'll just really finish these armories. I guess I'll have to wait until this thing builds here for manpower before we can really move forward, or else we fail that mission. And I mean, overall, at least it'll give us some time to cool down. And it looks like is that right? We've become the Papal controller over here, so we gain +1 diplomat, so that'll be useful, for now at least. 1 leader without keeping, or 1 leader without upkeep, and 2 possible advisors, aggressive expansion modifier of negative 10%, so that'll actually be pretty damn useful. So yeah, it looks like we became Papal controller. Looks like, yeah, 2 people are voting for us, so that's kind of neat. And I think we'll try to nab another sort of a person here, so we'll, I guess now that we have a sort of some influence inside the Papal circuit over there, we'll try to increase our control over there. And now with these cannons, that should definitely reduce these rebellions in size much quicker. So yeah, that'll be that. Our manpower increase is slightly modified for the better, but it's not great. And we can roll for a new leader, so I might as well see what we can do, see whether or not we can make a better army leader than what we have currently. And I think as soon as we get enough military points for this tier of ideas, we'll start to unlock a few of them. And damn, oh my god, we are going to have to gain even more inflation over here. That's at 12%. I will have to spend some points to lower that here. So luckily we picked up that technology, which has made at least lowering that inflation cheaper. So I suppose that's at least decently good. And this army is taking attrition damage. There we go. And let's see what we can do here in Sweden. So we've improved the relations over there by quite a lot. So hopefully we'll be able to make this alliance here. We cannot make this alliance because we have a negative opinion of them. However, they have a positive opinion of us, so that's really kind of weird. There's not, I don't believe, I actually don't know if there's any way we can sort of ease the relationship on our side. I'll try that. Yeah, we'll ask for military access. Perhaps our people will be slightly grateful. So now we can make an alliance with them. That'll be actually pretty helpful. And that'll make it so that we can hopefully go to war with, say, some of the neighboring nations without accumulating, accumulating huge allies through or huge enemies through deterrence, of course. So yeah, that'll be one thing that we can keep track of. Munster here, I really want to attack them. You know what? Our manpower pool here is just going to constantly fluctuate, probably in the negatives for some time right now. We could use an advisor, actually, which is one of the things that we gain more of as a sort of a country that does things like that, you know? Oh, actually, we already have the guy who increases the national manpower modifier. So it looks like, unfortunately, we'll have to deal with a sort of a lack of people for our army right now. And with that said, we won't be able to accomplish this mission, so cancel it so that we don't get the penalty for failing it as soon as we start this war. And we'll just really go with this. Oh, it looks like they don't even have an alliance with... oh, Anhalt has been conquered by these people over here, by Brandenburg, so that's good. That is good news for us. They are at war with Munster, Trier, and Urek. You know, no, we can't make a play on them, because then that'll involve Poland, which is a pretty big threat over there. I don't know, we could forge a casus belli on, say, Brandenburg right now. And I'm gonna see whether or not Poland joins them in this fight. We have Hungary on our side, and they have Poland as a rival, so they might join us in this war. And at the same time, I honestly don't believe that Poland's army is actually bigger than ours. If I were to check up their size, or if I were to say, like, check up their army size, I'm gonna guess that their army size is actually probably comparable, just really pretty much on par with ours, not really above, not really below is the thing. So yeah, that is sort of that. And unfortunately, I don't know of a way to check it apart from going into that that sort of rivalry panel. Though it might be an option over here. Check the ledger with our relations with hostile nations. No, that won't show it. Yeah, because I think they have a very comparable army to our size, and with the amount of income we can rake off, and we should be able to fight them off, really. The only downside is that if we do declare war on them, that might threaten our trade over here, and of course that leads to future conflicts in which we might have to brawl it out with them, and with that said, that might not be, say, the best of ideas. I think what I'll do is just finish off this trade idea section. So actually, this will be pretty useful. It gave us the Hanseatic levy system, which will give us more manpower recovery, and the national trade income modifier. So that should actually lead to some pretty hefty increases in money for us. Currently, I think we're maintaining a pretty big army and a lot of different advisors, so that is going to be in the gutter compared to what we were originally earning. But it looks like it increased by a value of 1 from 5 or so, so that's still pretty decent. And now we should be able to unlock a policy right now, so let's see about that. Right, so we can add one of these policies, and these policies effectively will require two idea trees to be filled up before we can unlock one. And because you only have a limited amount of idea slots over here, you can only put in 8, right? So you can only have a limited amount of these policies. But these things are also pretty cool. I'm going to get this one right away because it's just in general useful overall. But these are the 3 currently available with our combination and permutation of different sort of combinations of 2 different ideas. So this one's actually, yeah, just another trade income sort of modifier. And with that said, overall it'd be just, yeah, it'd be neat. So we'll fire that one off, and that'll of course give us more trade income. So hopefully that number will go up to maybe 660 now, somewhere right around there. It's 10% increase. Yeah, it increased slightly over there. Well, maybe that's just because we gained some trade power over here. I don't know. Overall, it looks like that it's actually staying stable right now, so, oh well, at least that's that. Right, so, let's see. I think we already founded a casus belli against these guys, so now we can call them in like that. And it looks like Sweden and Hungary will actually join into a war against these guys. So, I mean, in theory, we could sort of let loose and go up against them. And you know what? I think we will. I think we will start up a war here with Brandenburg. But in the meantime, I think I'll start to fabricate a few more claims on them, just so that in the negotiations, if you have a claim on these guys, it'll have, I think, a 75% modifier to what the value would be for aggressive expansion per each province, which would be kind of useful in our situation here. And I'll switch our leader back to some guy who does administration, because we need to unlock more of those administration techs for more idea trees, and obviously we need to keep track of inflation as well. And it looks like Austria here is going to be busy fighting the Papal states and everybody on a whole bunch of issues on just sort of Venice over here. If currently they're fighting the Papal states, yet they still have a pretty high relation with them. If we can modify the sort of opinions about Austria over here, we could call for an excommunication of them, which would be really rather nice. That'll allow neighboring Catholic nations, namely ourselves, because I believe we slightly border them, using the small city of Cologne over here. We could declare war on them, and it'd be a valid war too. And in addition to that, that sort of crippled their nation in comparison to everywhere else inside the HRE, because the HRE is inherently, or for the most part, a sort of a Catholic area. So yeah, that's sort of that. And it'd be a neat premise, but at the same time, that's sort of difficult to pull off. Namely due to the fact that we are going to sort of sabotage their reputation. We actually need an idea to do this. So unfortunately we can't pull that off. And you know what, come to mind, we probably don't need to forge another casus belli, because we are going to be we're going to be vassalizing these people anyways, so it's not going to give us, say, that much of a penalty anyways. So here's what I'll do. I'll finish off this small rebellion, and then I think we'll just get started with the blitzing of Brandenburg right here. Right, so come over here, hire a new guy. Now that we have 5 different people to choose from, I want some guy who helps us out with reinforced speed. Well, no, actually, because a war will just go on here, we'll go with morale of armies. So we'll do that. Bohemia is evidently, Pomerania? Who is fighting them? Pomerania, Sweden, Muscovy, Denmark, and Bohemia. Alright, well, we'll declare war on them as well. We'll call in Hungary to sort of fight the war against them. And it looks like Poland here will join in. So, hopefully we'll be able to fight off the combined might of these guys, but perhaps Poland might be a tad on the stronger side. But we'll see, though. We'll see. Because what I want to do here is that I just want to blitz them really fast. And if we do this properly, I mean, they won't really be able to respond in a appropriate amount of time, so it'll just be a really quick war like that. And I think for this war, because of the whole Polish sort of intervention here, we'll need to fund ourselves with some mercenary infantry. So we'll do that, and I think I'll also buy a few cannons because our armies will be pretty big here. Right, so the battle will go on like that. Poland will be fighting us, Hungary, as well as Muscovy, and amongst other people. So hopefully their lands will be effectively shattered, and we can also press for some country releasing goals inside the war as well. So that'll of course also affect them as well. So I believe they'll be currently chewing up Moscow's forces, or Muscovy's forces right now. So in the meantime, we can get rid of this rebellion and these cannons, the two that I have bought here, the one that is actually showing up. We'll hopefully do some more damage, we'll finish them off like that, get this army to reassemble. And we'll see what we can do. So I think I'll keep our armies here just sort of on a siege status for now. And we will try to take over these lands. Are we still the Papal controller here? Because I noticed that we did lose one of our people over here. So we currently have two people in the active cardinals voting for us. That's more than anybody else. And we have another one on the way, so that's good. Have currently 40 Papal influence. I'm going to increase this slightly to 85 like that. So hopefully nobody else can compare with us here. Milan and Portugal are trying to get this guy, so I think I'll increase that to 90. And currently I'm going to try to compete with Castel over here. And I'm going to invest into this guy over here. Why are we exactly gaining this Papal influence anyhow? We have some prestige, some buildings and all that. So yeah, that's sort of that. Right, so I think we'll just sort of go with that. And currently we will get things to go like this. Inflation's going back up, which is rather unfortunate, but we can handle that. Currently, I just really want to excommunicate these people over here with Austria and all, but it looks like their relation with the Papal State is increasing, despite the fact that they've just fought each other pretty much. It's really odd, but I mean, hey, all right. Now, I believe can we actually call a crusade on excommunicate Poland? I mean, that would be kind of useful to us. And yeah, it looks like, I mean, Moscow's army, Hungary and Sweden's even here. I didn't really expect them to show up, to be frank. They're doing their job, so that's good. And I think we'll get the Hanseatic fleet here to start to siege their places, so that'll be useful too. And I think we'll just vassalize the part that is Brandenburg over here as soon as these areas are complete, and I'll move these sieges forward. I'll move them into the Polish lands over here as well. And again, I want to break up the Polish sort of alliance here. Hopefully we want to break up a good chunk over here just to the south of Danzig. Or, oh, actually, we might want to make them revoke their claim on Danzig and adjacent area. So we can grab that area really fast like that. And then they won't really have a valid reason to fight us. So they'll have to forge a claim, which obviously takes time and has the chance of being found out about. So yeah, we could do that as well. And come to think of it, we don't really need these mercenaries right now, so we'll cancel them to save on costs, of course. And overall, I mean, I think Poland over here will be just pretty much trumped by this. I'm gonna check on their war status. I want to say that they haven't canceled their war with Muscovy, so that's good. This is gonna mess up the balance of power over here, though. I mean, Sweden's probably gonna get a good chunk of land out of this. Muscovy's gonna get a good chunk out of land off of this. I mean, Poland's obviously going to be getting the short end of the stick here, but no matter what, we're sort of still competing. We're still sort of adding to our two big rivals over here. Well, at least we'll be down one big rival is one thing, though. And it looks like we gained another sort of guy in the Holy See. And in general, I mean, with the whole sort of like systems here for elections, namely the Holy Roman Empire and the Holy See, so long as you initially can sort of get your foot in the door, being the top dog, if you will, in the spot, in general you'll have a very easy just sort of chance getting re-elected very often. And that's hence sort of the reason why Austria is pretty much the de facto leader of the Holy Roman Empire, and I don't even need to check to just sort of know that every single time there. Right, so I think the main thing here was just to really be bringing up that war score up to 100 however we can. And really just taking these guys out. In theory, we could just sort of sub